Hello, everybody. Welcome to this vlog. This vlog is a series, and I would say greetings to everybody in your own language or in your own culture. Peace, shalom, and greetings. The purpose of this vlog is to let's liberate. Let's liberate who? This particular one is devoted to liberating Pakistan, as you can see in the little title on the bottom left. And if I share my screen with you, and I'll explain to you why I look like this. If you look at my screen, it says here, sorry, this is the next one. Uh, this is where you start. Let's Liberate Pakistan, LLP series. This is the first one. This is the introduction. And then there will be several others. This will be in English because Pakistan speaks Urdu. So, what's going on in Pakistan? We'll first learn that in this introduction. And then we'll learn about Pakistan protests, which have just started. What's going on over there? And then we'll take a look at some overseas Pakistanis, what operations they can do or are doing. And hopefully there will be no physical clashes with anybody. In Pakistan, though, the physical operations have started from the side of the government and the police. And so there needs to be some physical response. I don't mean I don't mean violence at all. This physical will be peaceful. Hopefully, after this response, no further action will be needed from our side, that is, from the people's side. But if needed, I may do further vlogs to explain to you what we can do further in order to bring freedom to Pakistan, because Pakistan has been taken over by very undesirable interests, very powerful people, and very powerful entities. So we need to free Pakistan from their grip. And what's really going on in Pakistan, and why am I doing this? Why are we doing this? There is a person named Imran Khan. I will explain to you why he is so special, and 10,000 plus others who were arrested because of association with him. Simply carrying a flag can get you arrested. If they find out you're a member of his party, can get you arrested. And these people, all they're asking for is free and fair elections. Free and fair elections is all they're asking for. So what can be done? So far, what people do is they speak words, words of great wisdom. They say a lot of things that are very, very smart. These are very smart people. The reason I came out and I came out in this way, I'll explain to you further, and it'll become apparent as we go on because my style is very different from anybody else. I am going to talk about actions. Actions speak louder than words, as you all know. So, what's going on in Pakistan, and how is this different? First of all, the word freedom is very poorly understood. So let me first do something that nobody ever did for you. Nobody has ever done this for you, I'm pretty sure, but I am going to do it. You've probably heard before that freedom, nobody will ever take this thing. What is this called? This is called a plate. Normally you eat food in it, right? But has anybody ever done this? Has anybody ever offered freedom to you in a plate? Does that ever happen? I know your answer is no. And you are right. Because nobody will ever offer freedom to you in a plate. You have to fight for it. You have to struggle for it. And that's what we're going to do. Are we talking violence here? Are we saying we're going to do violence? Where's my stuff to show you? I say we're going to use our hands. So some of you might be thinking maybe we're going to do violence. Are we going to use things like these? Is that what I'm talking about? Is that what I'm talking about here? Are we going to be using axes? Maybe hammers? No, this is not the kind of things I'm talking about. It is physical, but not this way. All right? This can be quite scary. So, no, we're not talking about hammers. We're not talking about axes. We don't want to shed blood. Or are we talking about this? I'm sure some of you are afraid when you see me like this. Maybe I'm talking about these things, right? Guns, shotguns. Is guns a good idea? No, guns is not a good idea. So, no, we're not going to use guns. Guns is out. So then you're saying if guns is out, then what is that? What then can you use? Or are we talking about this? Rocket propelled grenades, right? No, this grenade launcher is actually not good because this grenade is actually not the right size. This is heavy. Let me put it away before I. No, so we're not going to use any weapons. There can be two things that you use with your hands. You can use tools and you can use weapons. So I'm going to help you use tools. So what kind of tools are we going to use peacefully? Well, I've got some here for you to show you. This is one of the things we will use. What is this? Does everybody know what this is? A huge scissors, maybe? And what is the purpose of this? This we will use in this struggle to liberate Pakistan. And we will also use this peacefully. A stick. What do you put at the end of a stick? You can put a flag at the end of a stick. What do you put at the other end of the stick? You can put something like this net. Now, some of you are going, wait a minute, how can you liberate Pakistan with a fishing net from an aquarium? Normally, you take out fish with this, right? How can you free Imran Khan, who's in jail, using a net? Well, I'll explain as we go on. There's more things you can use. I'm going to have you use these. What are these things? These things are whistle. You can blow them. I'm not going to blow one now because I'm wearing a mask, but you know what they are. You know how to blow them. Speaking of sound, we also need this. What is this for? This is like a bullhorn. Are you going to use a bullhorn to go to a rally and then speak in a bullhorn? Yes, you can do that, but that's not what I'm talking about here. We have a different purpose to use a bullhorn, and I'll explain that to you later. So that's among the things we'll use. We will also use this. What is this called? And I don't mean a hoodie. I mean what's inside, the brain. We're going to use the brain. In order to use the brain, we're going to do a little science here. So you see this thing right here? Very small, common thing called baking soda. It's a chemical. We're going to take chemicals. We're going to mix chemicals as if we were scientists in a laboratory. We're going to use these things. I'm going to show you how to use them to liberate Pakistan. Really? Are we talking chemical weapons? No, I told you no weapons here. We're going to do it peacefully. The chemicals we're going to use are going to be to protect you against chemicals. So that's what I'm going to do with you here. So now still you're very confused already, right? What is this guy talking about? Who is he, and what is he? How is he going to liberate Pakistan, a whole country of 250 million people? So let's take a look. I'm going to share with you this screen again, and I want you to see what a wonderful person this is, named Imran Khan, and how he is so special to so many people. Listen to him for 1 minute.
Mr. President, the pandemic was an opportunity to bring humanity together. Unfortunately, it has instead fanned nationalism, increased global tensions, and given rise to racial and religious hatred and violence against vulnerable minorities in several places. These trends have also accentuated Islamophobia. Muslims continue to be targeted with impunity in many countries. Our shrines are being destroyed. Our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ insulted. The Holy Quran burnt. And all this in the name of freedom of speech. Incidents in Europe, including republication of blasphemous sketches by Charlie Hebdo, are recent examples. We stress that willful provocations and incitement to hate and violence must be universally outlawed. This assembly should declare an international day, combat Islamophobia, and build a coalition to fight the scourge that splits humanity.
So you can see why this person is so special. He's in jail. He helped Islam so much. Pakistan is an Islamic country, right? So you would normally expect that if Pakistan had such a person, such a leader, they would try to protect him instead of putting him in jail. So we need to do some actions in order to get this man freed and to get free and fair elections. He was the elected prime minister of the country, and they got rid of him by a so-called, I don't know why this thing's not moving. Okay, there we are. So these are the players in Pakistan, just to give you an idea if you're not from Pakistan or if you haven't been following what's going on over there. So these people with the descriptive words you see next to them tell you the story. This is the man we're talking about on the top left. He is the most popular leader of Pakistan by far. Under the actions of this newly appointed chief of military, chief of the army, as you know, army has big power over there, even more than the rest of the military, which is confusing. Why? Because who fights a land war anymore, right? Look what happens to Israel when they fight a land war. A bunch of their tanks are destroyed and all that. Look at what happened to Russia when they went to Ukraine, right? But this man is in charge of the land army. And he has basically taken over the country, and he wants to install this man, the most corrupt person in the history of Pakistan. He was appointed, he was president, he was prime minister 3 times, and now he wants to be a prime minister 4th time. The man on the left, bottom left, is an opportunist. When his wife, you would know his wife, even in the West, would know his wife. His wife's name is Benazir Bhutto. And when his wife passed away, he became the next leader of the country. And that is very unfortunate because he was very corrupt. He, along with Nawaz Sharif, so the names of these people, this one is Asim Munir, the vindictive one. And the one labeled opportunist is a very, he is the uh, husband of Bhutto. He doesn't go with the name of Bhutto, even though he is in the Bhutto family. His name is Asif Zardari, and his son is also trying to be prime minister. The one on the right side, bottom right, his name is Nawaz Sharif. He was prime minister before, and now he wants to be again. He spends much of his time in London and only comes occasionally to get power again in a corrupt manner. So, what I'm going to ask you to do, people who don't know much about Pakistan and want to learn, and also those who do know, is that I would like you to hold these 2 things. I don't know if you see them. Get yourself a pencil and a paper, because in this vlog series, I'm going to teach you a lot of methods of resistance and some information that you might find useful. So keep a paper and pen handy, and not particularly for this one, but there will be a quiz at the end of these vlogs. So be ready for that. All right. I showed you a lot of things we're going to use by hand. So there also needs to be some skill in order to use them. So next, what about Pakistan? Something more about Pakistan. Pakistan is the so-called Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Is that really true? Is it the Islamic Republic of Pakistan or is it the Banana Republic of Pakistan? So you decide. Some people give a lot of importance to the holy book, which is the Holy Quran, but the others who worship the almighty dollar. So still, there are a lot of people who have great respect for uh, the Holy Quran. So I'm going to quote a couple of verses from the Holy Quran because I want to prepare people for standing up against the government. Because the Quran is one of the authority books they take a look at, and they take a look at the law. And the law says you must obey your government. And you must always obey what they say. And you cannot stand up against them. You cannot overthrow the government. So that's what I'm going to contradict today. And that's why you can see me in this kind of attire, because these mafias are not just in one country. They're all over the place. They're in Pakistan, they're in the West. And if this guy that I showed you gets the government of Pakistan, there is going to be massacres in Pakistan. There's going to be a lot of people killed. That's why it's important to take action. So what I'm going to do is show you the justification for standing up to this government and why should you stand up? Is it even allowed? The justification for, I'm not going to call it revolt, but let's say resistance. Let's call it resistance for now, all right? How's that? Now, there's something very interesting said about Pakistan. I don't know if you can see this. Pakistan is said to have a AAA system of power. What are the triple A's? What are the 3 A's? They say Pakistan has these powerful entities control Pakistan. Allah, which is God, the Arabic word for God. America, yeah, believe it or not, thousands of miles away, America, they say, is what controls Pakistan. Well, they give them a little bit of aid. And these dollars are so great to them that the dollars are almost like Allah to some people. And then there's the army, which I already told you that army is just one part of military, but somehow the army has all power in Pakistan. So these 3 powers control the country. So let's take a look at Allah first of all. This is from the holy book of Islam, which is called the Holy Quran. And I'm going to read it in Arabic and then translate it into English. The English is there. You can also read that simultaneously. Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu ati'u Allah wa ati'u ar-rasula ulil amri minkum. فإن تنازعتم في شيء فردوه إلى الله والرسول إن كنتم تؤمنون بالله والآخر ذلك خير وأحسن تأويلا. That means, oh, you who have believed, obey Allah and obey the messenger. So obey. And there's more about obey. It says, and those in authority among you. Ulil amr. Those in authority among you is the most misunderstood part of it. Let me read on. And if you disagree over anything, refer it to Allah and the messenger. If you should believe in Allah and the last day. if you believe in Allah in the last day. This is the best way and best in results. So apparently from this verse, it seems that you just got to obey them, whoever they are, just obey them. You cannot stand up to them. You cannot revolt against them. The Holy Book has said it. And unfortunately, many people in Pakistan misunderstand this verse and they think it's not okay to stand up to the government. You have to just do whatever they say. Anyway, moving on, there's another verse of the Quran. Oops. It's not showing. Oh, there it is. The other verse says, اتخذوا أحبارهم ورهبانهم أربابا من دون الله والمسيح ابن مريم وما أمروا إلا ليعبدوا إلها واحدا لا إله إلا هو سبحانه عما يشركون. And it's translated as they have taken their scholars and monks and lords besides Allah. So in other words, these are worldly leaders, like the ones I showed you, Nawaz Sharif, Asim Munir, and people like Asif Zardari. So take them as lords besides Allah. And also the Messiah, son of Mary. The Christians do that, right? They take him as God. And they were not commanded except to worship God, one God. There's no deity except him. Exalted is he above whatever they associate with him. This word, yushrikun, associating with God, is a very dangerous sin. The biggest sin in Islam is shirk, and that means to associate with Allah. So if you make these leaders so big that you just cannot stand up to them, you cannot criticize them, you cannot revolt against them, you cannot remove them. It's so taboo, is wrong. This is what the Quran says. And then don't just leave it to God. A lot of times, what's happening now in Pakistan is that people are saying, hey, you know what? Things are terrible, but let's leave it to God. God's going to do it. You know what God says in response to that? This is what God says. I'm going to read the part that is in green. There's no translation. I'll try to translate it for you. It says, Inna Allah la yughayyiru ma biqawmin hatta yughayyiru ma bi anfusihim. This is the reference from where it is. And what that means is God will not change a nation until that nation changes themselves from within. And simply put, this is present in pretty much every culture. You probably heard it in Judeo-Christian cultures too. God helps those who help themselves. So you got to do something too. Don't just say, oh my God, it's terrible. It hurts so much. We don't have a democracy. The elected prime minister has been thrown in jail. And the army has taken over, and they're putting all kinds of crazy guys in charge of us. The country's economy has tanked. They're flushing the country down the toilet. It's terrible, but hey, God is going to take care of it. Of course, God's going to take care of it. But what is your role? Don't just throw it to God. God's not your personal servant. So you got to do something about it too. Now, some people say, okay, but it's against the law to stand up to your government. They would worship America, right? They would worship God. But what about America? Let's take a look at what America says. Well, to tell you the truth, you can see why they're confused. Because according to the laws, the US laws I'm showing you here in the red, I'm going to read that part. If you overthrow a government by force or violence or by assassination of any officer of such government, you will be fined under the title, or imprisoned for not more than 20 years plus fine or both. So in other words, it's terrible if you stand up against your government. But is that absolute? Is there no exception? See what the ultimate source of US legal guidance is, and that is the Declaration of Independence. What does the Declaration of Independence say? This is the USA document, most respected document in the United States. Whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, what are the ends? Life, liberty, and happiness. It is the right of the people to alter or abolish it and to institute new government. And then it says, when a long train of abuses and usurpations, that's what's happening in Pakistan, pursuing invariably the same object evinces a design to reduce them under absolute despotism, it is their right, it is their duty to throw off such government and provide new guards for their future security. So what is the message for the people of America? And that's why you see people of America sometimes stand up to their government, very forcefully ask for the removal of that government. And fortunately for them in America, they have a system of democracy that works far better than the system in Pakistan so far. Some people will say, oh, I hate America. I'm not going to listen to what you're saying because I hate America. I don't like America. All right, let's take a look at Germany. You must like Germany because a lot of you go there, right? You take ships and go there, even if you have to drown. Well, I don't blame you because of what's happening in Pakistan, right? The Article 1 of the German Basic Law says human dignity shall be inviolable. Is there human dignity in Pakistan right now? They just break into your house like thieves, like robbers. They take your daughters away, strip them naked, and take them away, threaten rape of your mothers. Is that dignity? That's what's going on in Pakistan. It says to respect and protect it shall be the duty of all state authority. But what about the people? It says all state authority is derived from the people. It shall be exercised by the people through elections. Elections, the word that scares the current government of Pakistan the most. They don't want to talk about elections, they want to talk about everything else. And other votes, and through specific legislative, executive, and judicial bodies. These are the three branches of government. All of them have been ruined in Pakistan. You know that. I mean, you're following it. What has been ruined? The Constitution. So when all this happens, it is not only your right, it is your duty, your obligation to stand up to your government. All right. So what I'm going to say here is, you just saw a glimpse of something I'm going to say. A lot of you are watching videos unlike this one, because this is not like anything you have watched before. Because I just put freedom in a plate and gave it to you, and that nobody ever does that, right? So I just did it for you. So I'm going to show you who has been talking to you, and do I agree with them or not? I love these people. Let me just tell you, first of all. And I like what they say. I listen to them as often as I can. All right. So let's take a look at these vloggers that in Pakistan have basically transformed the society tremendously. If you look at this pair, these are amazing guys. The one on the left is Haider Mahdi. Haider Mahdi has done these fabulous, intelligent discourses that you can really benefit from. He does a regular vlog. And the one on the right is the major retired Adil Raja. I put retired, changed it to registered sign by itself. But anyway, maybe that's a Freudian slip. You know, a Freudian slip is where you make a mistake, but it ends up making more sense than what you wanted to say. Let's hope that Adil Raja becomes a registered trademark of bravery and resistance. So these guys are doing amazing vlogs almost every day, and sometimes both of them appear together as they are appearing. I'll say more about them in a minute. In-depth analysis is done by journalist Mueed Pirzada. This fellow was in Pakistan, but then he was thrown out, practically thrown out in exile. So he's now abroad in America. He does his vlogs from there. Very, very in-depth. There's a very sincere expression of news and views by journalist Sami Ibrahim. Very, very wonderful, amazing, amazing vlogs. And then there's Sabir Shakir, who does very regular vlogs. He's also been practically exiled. So he's doing his vlogs from outside. And then you see the enthusiastic man named Wajahat Khan. Wajahat Khan does a lot of military issues. It seems he has this thing about the military, but he covers all kinds of issues and is very popular as well. Pakistan, Mahaz hai. That's how he starts his vlogs. I think that's become his signature opening statement, and people love it a lot. And he's known very well. I think he's also abroad. So that's basically my message. And the reason I'm saying brought these vlogs up is that they are great. They are wonderful. But one thing that's missing there is they don't tell people what to do about it. They just say, get out of your homes, protest. What happens when you get out of your home and protest? You know what happens. You take a flag, they say, oh, is that flag belong to the PTI, which is the party of Imran Khan? Oh, get this person. They beat you up, they throw you in jail, they torture you there. And then they say, well, I've heard of instances where they say if you pay 5 lakh of rupees, that's 500,000 rupees, then we will, or something like that, we will release you, otherwise not. So basically, these police of Pakistan are thieves. They're thieves. They're actually robbing people by force. This is actually totally unacceptable, what's happening over there. And anyway, so what's going on there is really bad. So I wanted to say that you need to do some things covertly so you will not get arrested. In the next 3 or 4 vlogs, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some very specific ways using things like I told you, this not for a rally, this, not for a rally, and things like these, not for a rally or protest, but you're going to use your brain, outsmart them, and then you're going to see that they will become paralyzed. The government of Pakistan will become paralyzed, and they will have no way of overcoming you, arresting you, if they don't know who did what. I'm going to show you ways in which you can go deep into the system and basically pull the plug on the systems of Pakistan, and you can actually shut them down. They will come down to their knees begging you, saying, please don't do this. We'll release Imran Khan. We'll release the 10,000 or however many there are. But one promise you got to make to me is that, oh, thank you. One promise you got to make to me is that some refreshment there, I guess. You will spread this video and the videos that are coming. This may not seem important because it's very ordinary. We just did some basic talk. We didn't go into anything specific. I guess this needs more freedom than us, right? In Pakistan. It's changed. Maybe they should. I shouldn't say anything against the administration. They're nice. I can't drink. I'll wait until I'm done with this, right? Or when I show the slides. So anyway, this is basically a short vlog that I wanted to do just to introduce the subject. My next coming vlogs will happen if you spread this video to show me that you can actually, you're willing to do something, free your leader Imran Khan, and to bring elections in Pakistan. If you can actually do that, then I'll show you the rest of the vlogs, and I will stop when you stop working on it. You got to do some work with your hands. Don't just sit at home, or if you go out on rallies, get arrested. No, I'm going to give you low risk activities in which you will not get arrested. And indeed, you will actually get more results by simply going out. So the next video, Pantifada, which is the group that I'm doing this for, will do this in Urdu. And so that people in Pakistan will know what to do in these protests. This will be very useful. And then overseas Pakistanis can use these operations. That will be very useful for them, useful for the Pakistanis in Pakistan. And so the next one will be in Urdu again. This one will be for Pakistan operations. Now, I know there's the Million Man March and stuff like that going on in Pakistan. And that's why I want to do this protest video first. First, I wanted to do this first. But now because I've switched the system because now they're calling people out already. The PTI is calling people out. I'm not with PTI. This show is not for PTI, but PTI will benefit more from it because they're the ones that are being hurt more. But PPP, which is the Pakistan People Party, should also benefit because they're the ones they're going after next. So if you think you're comfortable, they're not going to give you government. They're going to do the same thing they did to PTI because you're also pretty popular in Pakistan. So one thing I told you about before, and I kind of promised, is that I will give you a little quiz at the end of each of these vlogs. So this quiz right here, who is the most popular politician in Pakistan? You know the answer. You can put it in comments. Who is the most corrupt Pakistani politician? I showed you a picture of him that says corrupt. The Holy Quran says you may worship your political leaders and scholars. Is that true or false? Pakistan's so-called AAA system refers to which three powers? So this is the basic quiz, and I hope to see you again or when I do this kind of vlog again. But we will be presenting these vlogs to you. So thank you so very much. And please, please, please spread this video as far and wide as you can on the different social media platforms you have. There's no copyright on it. Just take this video and run with it, okay? We will liberate Pakistan. I promise you, if you follow all the things that I will tell you in the next coming vlogs, within a month, Khan will be out. And elections will be held in February, as they promised. Okay? So thank you so very much. Salam, shalom, peace.